everyone, my name is Ven Jasper Ayotida and I am a grade 11 student from Block G. And in this video, I will be demonstrating a real-life situation involving the application of pricing. But before that, let me tell you the basic terms in selling that we will be using for this video. The first term is called cost. Cost is the purchase price of the goods being sold, or the amount paid to the manufacturer or supplier after any trade and cash discounts have been taken. This includes shipping and insurance costs. The next term is the selling price. The selling price is the price at which merchandise is offered for sale to the public. This is the final amount after adding any markup or deducting any markdown. The last term is markup. Markup is the amount by which a product's cost is increased to get the selling price. In other words, this is the difference between the cost and the selling price. Now that we have tackled the basic terms, let me now give you an example of a real-life situation of markup based on cost. A bookstore bought a book for 500 pesos. If the bookstore wants to put a markup of 20% based on the cost, which is 500 pesos, what are the markup and the selling price? To get the markup, we multiply the 500 pesos cost and the 20% markup rate based on cost. So we get 100 pesos as the markup. Since we got the markup, we can now find the selling price by adding the 500 pesos cost and the 100 pesos markup. We then get a result of 600 pesos. If you're wondering how we got a 20% markup rate based on cost, we just divide the 100 pesos markup by the 500 pesos cost. If we summarize the relationship, this is what we get. The selling price is 600 pesos or 120% of the cost. The cost is 500 pesos and is equal to 100% because this example is based on the cost. Then the markup is 100 pesos or 20% of the cost. Since we're done with the markup based on cost, I will now discuss the markup based on the selling price. This topic uses the same basic formula as the markup based on cost. However, the base now is the selling price and computing for the markup rate will be different. Let me show you an example of a real-life situation. A bookstore is selling a book for 600 pesos. If the bookstore bought the book for 500 pesos, what is the markup and markup rate if it is based on the selling price? The first thing we need to compute is the markup. So to get the markup, we have to subtract the 600 pesos selling price and the 500 pesos cost. We then get a result of 100 pesos. Since we got the markup, we can now compute the markup rate based on the selling price. So to compute it, we have to divide the 100 pesos markup by the 600 pesos selling price. We then get a result of 0.1666 or 16.67%. If we summarize the relationship, this is what we get. The selling price is 600 pesos and is equal to 100% because this example is based on the selling price. The cost is 500 pesos or 83.33% of the selling price, then the markup is 100 pesos or 16.67% of the selling price. If we compare this to the relationship of the markup based on cost, we can easily convert the markup rates to either of them using formulas. One formula is the markup rate based on selling price equals markup rate based on cost divided by selling price rate based on cost. This formula converts the markup rate based on cost into a markup rate based on the selling price, which then converts 20% into 16.67%. Another formula is the markup rate based on cost equals to a markup rate based on selling price divided by the cost rate based on the selling price. This formula converts the markup rate based on the selling price to a markup rate based on cost, which then converts 16.67% to 20%. Now that we are done with the markup rate based on the selling price, I will now explain the topic on markdown. The topic on markdown is very straightforward. There is no markdown based on cost nor markdown based on selling price. Take note, markdown is a reduction of the selling price which can go below the original selling price. Let me show you an example of a real-life situation. A bookstore sells a book at 550 pesos which had an original price of 600 pesos. What are the markdown and markdown rate? We can get the markdown by subtracting the 600 pesos original selling price and 550 pesos reduced selling price, which then results in 50 pesos. Since we got the markdown, we can now compute the markdown rate. We can compute it by dividing the 50 pesos markdown by the original price, which then results in 8.33%. That That was all for this video. I hope you have learned what I discussed. Goodbye and God bless.